All right, what's up, friends? How's everybody doing today? It has been a minute since I got out to take a ride. And the last two times I did, I didn't even end up recording anything. One time I went to record, and then the weather turned on me, and then it was just a miserable ride. Blah, 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 blah. Excuses. But we're here now, so that's where we're at. What I wanted to talk about quickly today was new rider anxiety and how to get over it. This is definitely something we've all experienced. I know I touched on it a little bit in other videos, but never really just the anxiety part of it. Things that when you're feeling stressed about getting on for one reason or another, that's actually preventing you from going out and riding. And that's like the worst thing, because it's going to be the thing that keeps you from improving the most, is just not practicing. And if you have too much anxiety, you're just never going to get on the bike. And I remember when I first started riding, there were several different, I'm talking weeks at a time, where I just wouldn't get on the bike. I would sit in my house and I'd open my eyes in the morning, thinking about getting on the bike, and then immediately talk myself out of it. Immediately just be every intrusive thought, right? Every single thing that could pop into my head as a reason to not go riding was right there, just in the forefront of my mind. And I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty miserable. And I just kept doing it to myself over and over again. I kept going, oh, what if I make a mistake? I'm gonna be embarrassed. Oh, what if I do something wrong and I hurt myself? Oh, well, then I'm gonna be hurt and embarrassed. And I would just keep thinking about all these things over and over again, the same type of stuff that would go to stop me. And it would just make me sick to my stomach. And then I would get upset at myself for even thinking like that. Then I would get even more upset at myself for not going. And then when I would think about that, I'll be well, now it's been worked up so much. Now I'm going to be so nervous when I go out because I've been doing this to myself, that now I'm definitely going to make a mistake because I'm going to be too tense. I mean, literally, my friends, just everything in the world I was letting everything in the world get in my way. And it was all me putting it in my way. And it's easy to do that to yourself. It's easy. Getting a bike is super exciting, but it can be pretty scary, especially not used to it. It's something new to you. So yeah, you could really do that to yourself a lot. And there were a few different things that I did to try to kind of combat those intrusive thoughts, other than getting mental health advice from a professional, which I absolutely recommend to anybody having trouble with anxiety, because that's a serious issue that so many people deal with in so many different aspects of life, and they never seek help for it. This is not a BetterHelp Online ad. I'm not sponsored by anybody to do with any of that stuff, but I just am a proponent of being healthy, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally. I think that kind of health is important, and we should all be looking out for ourselves and for one another. And helping out any way that we can. So, moving on from that, the anxiety is going to get at you. It's a pretty normal thing. Why you got to be right next to me, my guy? It's a pretty normal thing for purposes of being afraid to get hurt or being afraid to be embarrassed, things like that. So, a couple of things that I did to get around this was I would really prioritize timing of my rides, just to give myself that leeway of knowing, hey, there's not going to be a ton of people around. If you're really worried that much about getting embarrassed about something, there's not going to be that many people around. So at those times, so then I know that even if I did make a silly mistake or something like that, that I wasn't worried about too many people seeing make that mistake, because who the heck wants to see that? Who wants to get judged by random people just watching you trying to learn something? Nobody, right? So that was number one. Figure out good timing. Number two, find a place that you can practice, like really slowly. I mean, there's got to be some kind of parking lot somewhere near where you live where at early hours of the day, you know, the business isn't going to care if you're riding around a bit. There's not really going to be anybody around. And you'll be able to just take your time and really practice. Now, as far as practice goes, here's another thing I'll say. A way to make practice more approachable. There's another, I'm about to go over the same bridge I went over in another video. I'm going to have to find some new places to ride. This just happens to be in the route of the place I need to go. I'm going to get an eye exam, going to Warby Parker, because I had an exam and then it didn't, I got the prescription back and it wasn't feeling right. So I got to go back and get rechecked to make sure, get out of here, squirrel, rechecked to make sure that I didn't misjudge when I was giving my feedback to the person giving me the exam, make sure it was cool. Back to what we were talking about. So to make practice more approachable, one thing that I found very helpful, and it really, really helped me, was to set very specific goals for each time I went out and practiced, and to make sure that those goals were not too lofty, right? Like, I would set really simple goals. I would set goals like, oh, hey, I want to, from a stop, be able to make a left-hand turn in the space that is required for a standard intersection 5 times in a row without stalling or needing to recorrect my position. And then I would only do left turns one day, right? Just left turns. Keep it so basic and so simple, so you're not overwhelming yourself with different goals and different things that you need to get done at a time. And then the next day, I would do right turns, right? So small training sessions where the goals were really within my grasp. They weren't things that I was really going to need to be stretching for right away. This is all to just like get yourself loosened up, you know what I mean? Just like shake out the cobwebs and kind of just relax and be able to focus on what you're doing and feel like you accomplished something, right? Because if you're going out every day and you're setting goals like, oh, I want to be able to do like a figure 8 in a parking lot, like immediately within like a 16-foot box, dude, that might not come to you right away. That might not be something that's easy for you to attain. And if you just keep going out and failing at it over and over and over again, man, you're going to lose so much momentum and enthusiasm and confidence. And it's not worth doing that to yourself. There's really no reason to do that to yourself. Like, practicing left-hand turns and right-hand turns, guess what? That's going to translate into you getting better at slow speed maneuvers over time, right? Like that, it can be all done in steps. It doesn't need to be one giant thing right away that happens every single time. You could just take little baby steps. I'm going to nail my left-hand turns. I'm going to nail my right-hand turns. I'm going to do some like emergency braking. Don't even go that fast. Just see if you can go from 15 miles an hour to a stop without skidding tires, without lifting your back wheel, without you leaning too forward on the bike. You know what I mean? Small things. Just doing those tiny things over time. Then you know, oh, when I'm coming to a stoplight, if somebody stops a little short, well, now I know that if I'm going 15 miles an hour, then my stopping is not going to be a problem. And then you go from there, right? You go from 15 miles an hour, then 20 miles an hour. I know this sounds like it's a little bit long in the tooth to be doing so many small things and not taking bigger steps. I'm talking to people that are having issues with anxiety and not feeling super confident. Like, make goals that are attainable for yourself. Make goals that are going to be achievable and are going to boost your confidence every time you complete one, right? Like, oh yeah, I know that I went out and I had this goal and now I accomplished that goal. That's a good day, right? Like, that's a great day. You accomplished a goal that day. That's a reason to be proud of yourself. And I think over time, that really boosts your confidence like a whole bunch. Now, as far as other things that I did to help my anxiety. Now, I know this option isn't going to be out there for everyone, but thankfully it was for me. If you can, to practice riding on the street, what I found boosted my confidence was going out and having someone in a car follow behind me. And the reason I say this is because it will give you a bit of a buffer if you're in traffic, right? So if you're at a light and a car that you're with is behind you and you happen to stall when the light turns green, well, that person behind you knows exactly what's happening. They're not going to rush you. And if the people behind them honk, nobody cares, right? It's just a car honking at a car. But you have that buffer, and you don't have to worry about being at a stoplight and somebody maybe not seeing you, being worried about getting rear-ended, things like that. So that really can be helpful, especially when practicing riding on the street. You're going to get way more comfortable riding, doing it like that, faster than you can imagine. It's like having a little bit of a piece of armor behind you, like it's just there. That big old car is just there, and it's there for you to protect you. So if you go out in those quiet times and you have someone just following behind you slowly so you can take your time and do what you need to do to get comfortable and practice, you're going to loosen up enough time. Things are going to, that anxiety is going to start to go away, and it's going to melt away faster than you realize. So that's my bit of advice on that. Yeah, not a ton more to say. Whoa, look at these people. Yikes. Not a ton more to say on the subject. Those are just a few little points. Take the small victories. Take the time to do what you need to do to get more comfortable, to get better. And before you know it, you'll be doing everything you need to do to be cruising around and having a good time and enjoying your bike. That's all I got to say about that. So, I just got here. I'm about to park. I'm way early, but that's okay. In any case, as usual, have a great week ahead of you. Be kind, do good. Catch you on the next one. Peace. Oh, wow, look at that sky. Holy moly.